Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to TFT Tarot for today. Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. And this is me, Oberon, with my Friday show, The Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges. And I'm going to zoom in here. There we go. And it has been revised, so there's now going to be a different kind of shorter, more immediate sense of a reading, and I've made one significant change because I've had some feedback about this. What I want to do is go with the idea of singles not seeking, or settled relationships. And so in abbreviating this reading, I'm going to be looking at those people or those situations. So let's get started. And I'm no longer going to do this, or at least for this week, I'm not going to do this as a sign for the zodiacs. So no zodiac qualities are being expressed. It's really going to be just in general. It'll be more similar to what I do with Goth Tarot. So to start, I'm going to have a meditation from the Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Just to kind of hopefully, set a nice tone for us. And it's listening. A message is trying to get through to you from your higher self, an angel or an ascended master. Alternatively, it may be from someone dear who has recently passed away. This message will clarify something that has troubled you for some time. Rest, relax, and listen to the whispers in your heart. After the message, or allow the message to seep through. Let go, and the message will come to you when you least expect it. And so once again, that's Tony Carmine Salerno, the Universal Love Oracle. And I use it here a lot on my emotional exchanges, so I just want to shout out to Tony if he ever sees this. I love your work. All right. So I'm going to be using the deck called the Star Spinner Tarot. It's a nice deck. It's done, and in the new fashion of some decks, they have extra cards, maybe even what would be considered alternative cards to the lovers. So you might have a male couple represented in the lovers, or a female couple, or the traditional male-female couple. And so sometimes the advice is to basically use the card that's appropriate for your client. And I think this standard is showing up a lot because, of course, more and more people go to tarot readers, and the main question is always about romance and love. So no matter you know, how you love or who you love, tarot readers have always kind of worked with the idea of being able to provide information about relationships. So at any rate, I've been belaboring my point. I've decided I do read with this deck a lot on our regular live stream, or regularly, I should say. But I usually just use the standard Lovers card. I haven't picked any of the others. But today, I decided I'm going to use all versions of the card. So the deck will have 80 cards, I guess. Anyway, because it will. So we'll just see how that goes, you know. Anyways, here's our new standard reading, as I mentioned. Just questions and 3 cards. The first card will be for single people, people who are not really seeking a relationship. So the question may pertain more in general to what they just enjoy emotionally or what they seek emotionally. The second card is more intended for persons who are seeking a relationship, whether or not they are already in one or not. They're seeking a relationship, so this question kind of brings a card towards that. And then the third card is settled. Those who are in a settled relationship, and so what's going on emotionally may just be a component or aspect or direction of that relationship. So I call this singles, seeking, and settled, or settled. And of course, if you feel like you sort of qualify for all of those for whatever reason, go with the gods. What can I say? So our first question: how can I be better at communicating my feelings? And for singles, it's strength reversed. So I should mention that, of course, you know, this is kind of like a general kind of emotional question. This isn't necessarily about relationships. So in the sense of being a single, how can you be better at communicating your feelings? This could be for any number of reasons that you feel that way. And this could be saying that avoid being overly aggressive or pushy, that you should not necessarily communicate things by being overly demonstrative, whatever that may mean to you. If your feelings are in fact about, you know, things that require you to be a stronger personality, lean towards that other side of the strength card, the compassionate strength. Try to be more understanding of situations before you come to an immediate decision. I mean, this could be about that too, that you should be better communicating by waiting until all the facts are in and not necessarily moving to the more, you know, physical resolution. Now, what if you're somebody who is seeking a relationship? How could you be better at communicating your feelings? And it's the reversed Queen of Swords. And so in some respects, it's not really very much different there. As the reversed Queen of Swords, it could be saying, try not to be overly opinionated. Try not to kind of ask for high standards, you know. I mean, maybe if you're seeking a relationship, maybe you should also be willing to be in a relationship. And sometimes that reversed Queen of Swords energy sort of makes you feel overly defensive. And so that's what I would say is your advice is don't be overly defensive either about your past or about what you really are interested in or anything like that. Let's move you over there. So then what if you are settled? What if you are in a settled relationship? How can you be better at communicating your feelings? And boy, it's reverse a palooza here. But this time it's the reversed Six of Coins. And so the reverse Six of Coins, I guess you have to learn what the boundaries are in terms of sharing. I think this is also saying too that maybe in a relationship of however length of time, some things you take for granted. And so don't take for granted what it is you could each share with each other, or if you in fact have been that person who doesn't share, remember to share more. And so that could be anything. It doesn't mean that you have to bring flowers once a week or chocolates or whatever it is, but it does mean that maybe you have to be more communicative. And you know, that's maybe a side of the Pentacles is, you know, foundational issues. It isn't necessarily about flowing from your emotions, but it's about understanding what is important in terms of having boundaries and foundations, which I discussed earlier in a way. All right, question 2 is, what do you seek available to you? And so that is, of course, if you are seeking a relationship, is that relationship really fair for you to approach in a relationship? I.e., you're not sneaking into somebody else's relationship with somebody else. But what if you're single and not necessarily seeking? Then this could be talking about the thing that brings you emotional joy. So maybe you're seeking, you know, an exclusive situation that maybe you either have to bargain for in certain ways or be more timely about or have more influence to get. And that could take different things. It could be anything from winning a certain kind of prize or buying something that, you know, has a certain emotional appeal to you, a limited item, a collectible, whatever it is, getting tickets for a season, you know, at hockey or something like that. You know, whatever it is that you as a single person and not necessarily interested in a relationship, what could you be seeking? Now, what if you are already settled in a relationship? Did I actually pull those cards? Okay, so let's actually do that. Boy, Mr. Oberon. All right, so we have established that, you know, people of different types of relationships or no relationship could all be seeking something else. Is that available to you? Is it something that you actually legitimately could look for? Singles, you have the Eight of Swords. And wow, that's kind of interesting because it says it's sort of a sense of solitude or self-limitations or some sort of sense of limitations. So this could be saying that maybe what you seek isn't exactly available because for some reason it's limited to you. I'm going to get back to that because I have another thought maybe. What about if you're a seeking person, a person seeking a relationship? is that Who available? And it is the Lovers, and the Lovers is reversed. And this is the version that has 2 women on it, so take it for what it's worth. Intuitively, it could be saying that just because it's a reverse card too, that there is somebody that is already maybe in another relationship. Maybe the person you seek is not available for that reason, but it could be another reason. It's not necessarily because the gender isn't correct for them or anything like that. But it could be talking about the fact that maybe there's a different kind of sensitivity and you wouldn't really be compatible with that. What if you're already settled in a relationship? Is what you seek available, whatever that could be? And it does say that maybe it's that kind of thing that you would have to steal it. You would have to steal it because it probably isn't exactly available. You would have to use a sense of your own stealth or ability to be sneaky. I don't know. And I was going to get back to the first card, which was the 8 of Swords. And so if you're not really seeking a relationship, I mean, if you're single, not seeking, you're seeking something else. Is that available? Maybe. It almost feels like there's a reason why it's not available. And it may be about you exploring within yourself on whether or not you really feel you're ready for that too. I mean, maybe you're not available for what you think you're seeking. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so we're going to move on to question 3. And question 3 is, how can I set healthy boundaries? Yay, everybody wants that, right? So we are talking about the possibility that whether you're in a relationship or whether you're not, or whether you are seeking, there is a sense about, being exactly positioned in a way to set those boundaries, so that if you want things more casual and you don't want somebody to be intrusive to you, or if it's related to anything else. And, if I don't get it right this time, hopefully I'll get it right next time. This is the first time I'm trying this reading, so be gentle. And here we go then. For singles, how do you set healthy emotional boundaries? And, that could take the form of just people saying, when are you going to get married? When are you going to, have a child? That kind of thing. Anyways, we hope that doesn't happen. It's the reversed 8 of Wands. So how do you set healthy boundaries? It's possible that you have to consider not being as focused, not being as fixated on certain goals or on any kind of goals, that maybe this is saying being a little bit more open-minded or objective about where your focuses are. Maybe you need to be a little more spontaneous in a way that says you don't have to rush towards something. You could, take your time towards getting there. Whatever it is, that, we're talking about. And this could just be, setting a healthy boundary for your own enjoyment of something else, not making sure that you don't let it become addictive, or something like that, I know, silly, right? Okay, so what if you're seeking a relationship? How do you set your healthy boundaries? And it's the reversed 5 of Coins. So maybe you seek healthy boundaries by making sure that you're not isolated. Okay, so you're not like stalking somebody to seek a relationship. You're maybe in a community or in a scene where maybe people do casually meet and begin to develop relationships. And this is saying, you know, make sure you're more like that, whatever that is. I mean, answering ads on the internet is still okay in my opinion, but you know, sort of hanging out somewhere and then stalking somebody, or goodness forbid, you know, date rape, drugs, and things like that. So yeah, set the healthy boundaries by doing what's normally what everybody does. Don't be really in your own corner, you know, of a weird kind of romantic way of doing things. So what about people that are already settled in their relationship? And how do you set healthy boundaries? By celebrating it. It's the Three of Cups. And so maybe you have to continue to celebrate your love, you know, whether it is with your immediate love, your partner, your family around you, children or other people, or whether, you know, you actually find ways to celebrate this in a larger context at all. You know, that's what the Three of Cups often talks about, is maybe going to a party or a wedding or some sort of celebration. I mean, it could be saying too that that's true too, but in terms of setting a healthy boundary, I think it's really about, you know, being open-minded in the public too, like not necessarily being ashamed of showing other people you have this relationship or situation. And I'm not sure where that really applies, unless maybe, you know, you have relationships that are on the down low for some reason. So watch out for that stuff. Okay, so I think that was question 3. So we have question 4. And question 4 is, for this week alone, what is it you will emotionally enjoy the most? You know, what is it you really want to enjoy for this week? You know, and so that could be a lot of different things. It could be a sense of who's coming towards you, you know, but it's really more likely saying, you know, what are you going to do, or what are you going to be looking for doing that you will feel enjoyable about, that you would, what is it you most want to, how many times can I say that word? What do you want to do? Anyways, I'm just a little bit skittish because this is the first time I'm doing this reading. Alrighty, so single persons, what will you enjoy the most this week? Aha. It's the male lovers. Okay, well, this could be saying that you're seeking things on your own. You're seeking things for yourself. And whether you are male or female, but not interested in a relationship, this could be saying that you're still interested maybe in your own gender for some other reason. It doesn't necessarily have to be about coupling, but there is a choice involved with the lovers usually. And that choice could be saying too that what you enjoy most is being able to choose your path. And so this is saying that if you are a single person, it doesn't mean you always will be, you always will want to be, you know, you always will just end up that way. You may have other options along the way. So that's okay. That's kind of nice. So what if you're somebody seeking a relationship right now, whether you are or not in one, as I've mentioned before, and it's the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles is upright. So what will you enjoy the most this week? It's probably going to be just being with people, working with people, maybe having a healthy relationship that's not exactly about, you know, romance kind of stuff, but maybe it's more about personal projects or ambitions or things like that. Maybe there's a neighborhood cleanup project, you know, maybe there's a potluck party to go to and you have to coordinate with the other cooks, you know. Who knows? I mean, those are still things you could end up enjoying, of course. So we know that that's true, right? Alrighty, so then that leaves us with the final, you know, who amongst those who are in a settled relationship, what will they enjoy the most? And it's traditional lovers, you know, male, female, but it's reversed. And maybe it's saying what you enjoy the most is not always having to make a choice, or not feeling like if you make the wrong choice, it's the end of the world. I mean, you're in an established relationship, and so sometimes somebody does screw up and makes, a big mistake in the relationship, an overreaction, or, an unintended consequence of something. It's understanding maybe that, you can still repair this relationship. You can, change some of that, and you can forgive. And, there's nothing wrong with that, right? All right, so that was 4 questions with 3 cards for the 3 different types. But wait, there's more. There's more. I've decided to throw up, so 4 times 3 is 12. I've decided to throw a 13th card because you know what? This is the end of Super Tarot Love Month, and I would have to say we were fairly successful. There were a few other things we might have liked to have tried. Don't forget, tonight, past life readings. It'll be live. We're not sure if it'll be 90 minutes or 2 hours. And because these are more involved readings, this is similar to maybe doing our birthday reading. We don't think we're going to be able to do, as many folks as we do. So just get there early. We're sure we can probably do at least 10 of these. But anyways, I wanted to put in a plug for that. So let's move on. And I'm pulling one more card with one question. And this is because it's really kind of a general question. It can be for everyone. How would everyone express universal love? And as you remember, that was the name of the oracle I used at the beginning from Tony Carmichael Solano. And I'm now using a deck that he worked on with someone else whose name I don't have. I think it's Denise Jaffe. Yes, Jarvie. Sorry. All right. And that was called the Tarot of Light. And the cards are only read upright. So without further delay, let's pull our ending card. And remember, that question was, how should everyone express universal love? And that, of course, just means for this week. If I do this reading again, there may be a different way to express. All right. Yes, Mr. O is standing. The path, exploration. I think that was the Chariot in the old major arcana. Exploration. There are many paths and many truths. Feel love resonate with you in each moment and step forward. You are always moving toward your dreams. The path guides you to feel the movement of life. It is time to get in touch with your inner driver, your spiritual director. Which direction do you want to be heading? Look where you are going instead of where you are not, and listen to where your thoughts take you. This card indicates that you are or will soon be forging ahead towards your dreams and desires. You are learning to discipline your inner critic and build confidence in your own wisdom. The path is becoming clear. So we express universal love or love for the world by realizing these kind of things, and that there are many different paths and many truths. And we can learn to live together. So keep moving forward towards your dreams. And so that concludes my emotional exchanges. I'll see you next week, and it'll be March, so there'll be plenty of things for us to do in March. Take care.